Talent marketplace, particularly the gig marketplace, is a very unique market. Perhaps it is the only market in the world where one seller is trying to sell something to the other seller. Yeah, there's no buyer really. On one side, organizations are trying to sell the opportunity for work to the talented people. On the other side, skilled individuals are trying to sell their talent and skills for the right kind of opportunity. And that makes this very, very dynamic and very, very interesting in a way. As more and more work happens in the gig environment, it will be extremely important for organizations to be able to attract the right kind of gigs with the right kind of value proposition. I call it as the gig value proposition. And there are 5 fundamental pillars around which an effective gig value proposition of an organization should be created. Now, first of all, gig work is going to be a way of life going forward. And if that is a reality, I think it is time for organizations to start moving from one-off projects to a framework of consistent engagement. How do you go about creating long-term sustenance for the gigs in the form of more projects, better works, constantly upgrading the kind of benefits that they get and so on and so forth. So the first thing would be, how do you move from one-off engagement to more consistent working with the same set of gigs? Now, second point is about work ecosystem and work environment. Agreed, gigs are independent people and most of the times they use their own resources and they work in their own environment. For organizations to have a strategic advantage in the gig marketplace, it is now time to start looking at what is it that you can provide in terms of a consistent ecosystem. This support can come in the form of resources, tools, technology support, even physical environment, right? As workplace is becoming more of a point and hub of social interaction, maybe in times to come, gigs will also start working from the same office space. So again, it's about how do you expand your work ecosystem to include the gigs. The third point is around fair compensation. Like it happened many years ago with outsourcing, the price arbitrage should not be the fundamental driving force of engaging the gig workforce. Therefore, organizations now should also look at what is their compensation philosophy when it comes to gigs. Sometimes, because it is a demand and supply gap, you may find that the most talented gig worker is perhaps not the most expensive one, and the others who claim to be the most expensive may not be the best talent. So outside the price play, it's important that organizations frame their own compensation philosophy for the gigs and do a fair compensation. The fourth point is around sustaining a long-term loyalty. Like any other customer loyalty program, I think organizations now should also look at gig loyalty programs. Can you introduce a point system where the more the work gig is delivering and the quality as well, he or she is getting more points that could have their own path to success. So how do you foster that long-term loyalty such that the most talented people prefer your organization? That's the fourth point. And the fifth and the last point, which I believe is the most potent one, is how do you extend the work culture and the ethos of your organization to the gig marketplace. This perhaps is the most complex of the value propositions, and it will be a while before organizations start getting effectively there. To start with, I think orienting the gig workers, specifically the ones that form your base of consistently engaged people, you got to attune them to your cultural nuances and bring them in the color and the fabric of the organization. As gig work evolves, and expands to very senior level positions, blue collared and niche skill sets, I think these 5 fundamental building blocks of the gig market, of the gig value proposition will be crucial for the success of your organization.